Today, we're diving into a revolution that's totally changing the way we build our world. We're talking about taking blueprints off the page and literally stepping inside them. We're going to see how the construction industry is building the future, virtually.
So, how do you build a skyscraper twice? Well, it sounds like a riddle, right? But it's actually the core of what we're talking about today. It's the incredible power to build, test, and completely perfect a massive building in a virtual world before a single shovel ever hits the ground. It's all about replacing guesswork with absolute precision.
Okay, but before we can build a virtual world that's real enough to walk around in, we have to back up. We need to ask a much bigger, almost philosophical question. What even makes our own world feel real? Turns out, the answer isn't really about the world itself, but all about how we perceive it.
You know, we tend to think reality is just out there, but it's not that simple. Our brain is basically a supercomputer, and it constructs our entire reality from the data flowing in through these 5 channels. What you see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, that's the raw input your brain uses to build the world around you.
But wait, there's more. It turns out we all have this kind of hidden sixth sense called proprioception. You can think of it as your body's own internal GPS. It's the reason you can close your eyes and still touch your nose. It's our sense of where our body is in space. And as you'll see, it's absolutely critical for making a virtual world feel believable.
So let's break it down. We're really dealing with 2 different kinds of environments. There's the physical one, the tangible, material world we live in. And then there's the virtual environment, a world built completely out of computer data. One is made of atoms, the other is made of bits.
And even in our physical world, there's a split. You have natural environments, like a landscape, and then you have the man-made or built environments, our cities, our homes, our offices. And it's these built environments that are being totally transformed by the virtual ones.
So that computer-generated world is what we call a virtual environment, or VE. And honestly, you're probably way more familiar with these than you even realize. Every single time you've explored a world in a video game, yep, you were interacting with a VE. But virtual reality, or VR, that's the next level up. The magic word here is presence. VR uses technology to actually trick your senses, to make you feel like you are truly in that other world. It's the huge difference between just looking at a world on a screen and being completely immersed inside it. Now, you might think VR is some brand new thing, but this dream of creating other worlds, it's not new at all. In fact, people have been chasing this idea for over 60 years. From the very first multi-sensory machines to the first VR gloves, it's been a long, fascinating road.
I mean, just look at this. This is the Sensorama, all the way from 1960. It was this wild-looking booth that tried to hit almost all your senses, sight, sound, smell, even touch with fans for wind, all to pull you into a film. You couldn't interact with it, but man, the ambition to create a new reality was definitely there.
Then, in 1968, we get this beast. Its nickname was the Sword of Damocles, and for good reason. It was so heavy it had to be suspended from the ceiling. But this crazy-looking contraption was the world's very first head-mounted display. It's the direct ancestor of every single VR headset we use today.
Now, it's also really important to tell VR apart from its cousin, augmented reality, or AR. See, AR doesn't replace your world, it adds to it. It just overlays digital information on top of your view of the real world. Think of it like a heads-up display for your life.
So how does VR actually pull off that feeling of presence? Well, it all comes down to this constant high-speed feedback loop. Your actions are the input, the computer sees what you do and instantly updates the virtual world in response. That's the output. This loop happens so fast that your brain just accepts it all as real.
And all of this is made possible by some seriously specialized hardware. The headset basically hijacks your vision and your hearing. Controllers translate your hand movements into the simulation. Every single piece of gear has just one job: feed your brain the right signals to make the unreal feel completely real.
Okay, so we've got this incredibly powerful tech for creating alternate realities. But what happens when you take all that and apply it to one of the most physical, grounded, real-world industries there is, construction?
And here's the really surprising part. You'd think with this kind of potential, every construction company would be all over it, right? But get this, only about a third of companies in the architecture, engineering, and construction world are even using it. That points to a massive opportunity for change.
The key that unlocks all of this is something called BIM, which stands for Building Information Modeling. And it's so important to understand, this is not just a pretty 3D model. It's an intelligent, data-packed,
digital representation of an entire building.
Honestly, the best way to think of it is as a digital twin of the real thing. Every single component, I mean everything from a giant steel beam down to a single tiny screw, exists in this model as a data-rich object. The model knows what every part is, what it's made of, and exactly how it all fits together.
Now, just in the design phase alone, the benefits are huge. Instead of staring at flat blueprints, clients can actually put on a headset and walk through their building. They can experience how a space feels. This means you can catch incredibly expensive errors and make sure everyone is on the same page before a single dollar is spent on materials.
And this is where it all comes together. You take that data-rich BIM model and you load it into a VR headset, and that's when the magic happens. All of a sudden, you're not just looking at a screen anymore. You are standing inside your unbuilt building. You can spot a pipe that's out of place with just a glance, an insight that is almost impossible to get from a 2D drawing.
And this goes so far beyond just the design phase. The future is this seamless blend of the physical and the virtual, right there on the construction site. Just imagine robots referencing that digital twin in real time, working right alongside human crews, who are using AR to see exactly where every part is supposed to go.
So, we come right back to our original question. Building a skyscraper twice, first in bits, then in atoms, is now a reality. It lets us solve these hugely complex problems in a safe, virtual space. And that leaves us with one last, kind of tantalizing question. If we can do this for buildings, what other massive problems could we solve virtually before they ever become real?